Awesome. All right. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and give our presenter, Linda Letona, a warm welcome and a thank you for doing our wonderful college success workshop today, again, titled Save Time Using OneSearch for Library Resources.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So welcome everyone to our OneSearch workshop. My name is Linda Letona and I am your DVC librarian. So reach out to me anytime. I'm going to go ahead and drop my email here. It's lletona@dvc.edu. We are always happy to help students at the library. So let me share my screen since this will be a bit of a demo, but I'll pause in between the demos to interact with you and see if you have any questions or ask you any follow-ups as well so that I can get to know you a little bit better. So let me take you to our library page here. This is what our library page looks like. You can get here on, through two different venues. Sometimes I just, if you're in Google, in your Google browser, you can just type in DVC library. And it's usually the first entry that comes up, so that can take you there. You can also hop to our library by going to the dvc.edu website. Let's say that you're here already. Then you can scroll down and on the left-hand column, the second tab says Library Research Help. You can click on that and that will take you to our library page too. I also recommend that you bookmark our page and use some of the great resources that we have here for you. So once you scroll down on our library page, you will see a window that is called OneSearch. This is a really useful tool as you're getting started with your research, or even if you're an intermediate or advanced researcher. This tool allows you to search the full library collection at once. So you will have access to various databases combined in one place. And this can save you time and effort and can also lead you to a lot of resources that you may not have found through, through individual databases, but you can also try a combination of both and see what works best. So I will focus on OneSearch for today. And here in the window, it says find books, articles, and more. So you can start entering a key term for your research. Let's say that I'm doing research on sea life, and I want to know a little bit more specifically about the term octopus. So I'm going to type in octopus, then click on search on the right. And this is going to lead me to the platform that will give me the search results. So here at the top, you can see that there are over 46,000 results for the search term octopus. And as we scroll down and look at the results, you will see that there are ebooks available online, there are videos, there are journal articles, many other options. And you can also search results by page. So you can increase it to 25 or 50, or go to the second page and then the next arrow to find more options. So three things that I want to point out are called filters. And if we go to the top here, you'll see on the left, there's a few options to sort your results by. So the first one I want to talk about is a publication date filter. So if we scroll down here on the left, you will see that there's a publication date tag there where you can click on the arrow pointing down, and you can enter a date range here that might be a little bit more contemporary for your research. So let's say that I want to keep it within the last few years. I can say I want to search everything from 2019 to 2021. So the last 3 years. Then you can click refine. Let's just note here that there are 46,000 results. And after we refine it, let's see what that does. Okay, so you may note that it went from over 46,000 to close to 4,000 results. So that really narrowed our search, right? And now these options are a little bit more contemporary. And with research, it really depends on your topic, on how you conduct the date range option or the publication date option. If your professor is telling you, I want you to look for more contemporary material within the last 2 years or within the last 3 years, then that's an option that that can guide you on your publication date range. Let's say that you're doing historical research for a history class, or you're researching about a social justice issue where you need a wider lens, a more historical lens on that given topic. Then maybe you'll want to take the lens back and expand it, maybe to like the 60s, from the 60s to the contemporary date. Or maybe you just want to explore the decade of the 60s. So you leave it within that date range. So that gives you an idea of how to use a publication date option. The second filter I want to highlight is called resource type. So that one is just above the publication date. And this will allow you to pick articles, newspaper articles, web resources. If you go to show more, that will expand your search to include books, videos, and text resources and other items you can explore here. So I am a fan of videos. So I'm going to click on that and see what comes up. And this only gives me 2 options. So maybe I'm not very satisfied with these options because there's not that many. What I can do then is go to reset filters to begin the search anew. That takes me back to my wide range. And then I'm going to click show more and go to videos again. So now there's 19 as opposed to the smaller pool. And it gives me a few more options. So it's a matter of sort of playing around with the refining options, thinking about your date range, and then just reading some of the entries, some of the title entries, and then you can click on a given title and it'll give you more information about that source. So let's see what this says. This one is, this one, number 10, live episode 8, Creatures of the Deep. Let me click on that. And this takes me to the database platform where this video is located. So the database where this video lives is called Academic Video Online Premium. And if I scroll down, I see more information about that resource. I see the title, the authors, the publication date, subjects. These subjects can be great for research because you can bunny hop, as I call it, from a given subject related to something that corresponds to your research that maybe you hadn't thought about, like a new key term that will help you find more resources on that topic. So here is the description on the video. And you see how there is the word octopus in bold? So I'm going to read this line and see what it says. See the ultimate self-sacrifice of a Pacific giant octopus mother who starves to death tending her young. That sounds pretty striking to me. I'm kind of interested in seeing that. So the next step will be, after I read the description, I'm intrigued to see what this video is about. So I'm going to click on the database where this video lives. And this is going to take me to the video where I can then start listening to it. So I'm going to pause it for now, but I just want to point out some cool options that you have in databases. You have citation tools that can help you cite the video so that you can save time for your essay. And then you can also search the transcript. So here, if I type in octopus, it's going to take me to awesome David Attenborough's narration where he mentions the word octopus in the film, and it gives me the timestamp and all that. So you can use all this content for your research, and then even get help with the citation. So I'm going to click on Cite on the dashboard here, and I see a drop-down menu with different MLA style options. So I'm going to go to the latest MLA style, copy citation, and I can then copy and paste that citation onto my essay, whether you're using a Google Doc or Word or in any other place where you like to work on your essay. So yeah, there's really cool media options on OneSearch. And then the last item that I wanted to show you here on the refining features is the availability option. So this says available online. Let's reset the filters and see what other options there are. Okay, so when we reset the filters now, there's 4 different options: available online, peer-reviewed journals, open access, and held by library. These are also noted in the green font here below the records. So you can see these different options and explore whatever type of availability you prefer. Sometimes your professor might require that you include a peer-reviewed journal in your essay. So that means that that given source has been vetted by other people in the field who are either experts or academic people with credentials who can review and have given sort of like a stamp of approval to a given article. So it gives it a little bit more academic authority to have a peer-reviewed journal article. There's also open access options. So for open access articles, those articles are available to the public. People don't have to pay a subscription like we do pay for database subscription. So some of this information here, is information that the institution pays for. It's available to you without an additional fee, but it comes from student fees. So in some ways, we are privileged and we're paying for information. What open access does is it tries to make it a free option so that people who can't afford to pay those fees have access to that information. And there is a great movement in scholarship right now to move a little bit more towards the open access model, especially with COVID and the health needs, the information needs related to health there. So that's just something interesting to note about open access. And you will see that here there's an icon for peer reviewed. And this one, for example, number 10 has peer reviewed and open access. So it's both. Okay, so let me stop the share because I just, shared a lot of information with you. And I know it can be a lot, but thanks for staying with me. Let me ask, what did you think so far of the database options? Talk to me and tell me how you're feeling about what you just learned. And go ahead and unmute yourself and just speak out.
I think it seems fairly easy to use. I think once you get down, you should be able to come back to it every once in a while and be able to easily look for any books or anything you need.
Oh, great. I'm glad to hear that you think it's an intuitive platform, easy to use. Yeah, I think so too.
Sorry, it's great too that we have access to material that it's paid for the college, that, if you're not there, we're not be able to access those things. Because usually the paid ones are the ones that's more informative, I would say. So that's good that we're able to access those, easily as we are students in the college.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think DVC has some really good databases, that other colleges don't have as much choice or a wider range. So I think we do have a nice selection there. And from reading some of the comments on the chat, some of you wrote, it seems pretty straightforward, great information, and I didn't know we had that access. So yeah, I'm happy to hear that. Cool. And let me go to the let me ask you the next question. So I showed you some options of accessing different sources. Let me go back there and show you some of those options. So there were the resource types that include articles, newspaper articles, videos, book chapters. I guess a follow-up question I have for you is, what type of resources do you like best or do you use the most? And go ahead and unmute yourself.
I would say usually you Google things a lot. You go in the internet and just Google most of the time. And some resources are provided by the professors, apps that you can use that's straight to your course that you're taking. But now, to tell the truth, I didn't know they will have all these things available to us. So I'm glad I'm taking this Zoom meeting, because I'm finding out a lot of things that's going to be useful for me for my course.
Oh, cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. And you also shared, Michelle shared YouTube. So yeah, there is some helpful content on Google for sure that can be academic content. And it takes a little bit of practice to figure out how to vet that material that is available on the internet. One of the nice things about OneSearch is that there are information professionals and publishers that vet some of that academic content for you so that you don't have to worry as much on whether the content there is academic or or appropriate for your scholarly sources. So it's another way of having people like information professionals curate content for you or pick out content that they think will be helpful for your research. And do you see yourself using more of the ebook content or the media content or the journal articles content from the OneSearch options? Or do you like a combination of a few?
Wait, we're allowed to unmute and just talk, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say I'd use the journal articles more, because those are usually where you'll find like more scientific stuff as opposed to just like, I mean, I guess it's all pretty credible, but like if you have a scientific like journal, then it's definitely more credible than some like sort of media, I think.
Yeah, I think that can be true, and it goes back to the vetting process and having it, be a process that goes through various layers of being vetted. When someone submits a journal article for publication, the submission process takes a few steps, and it takes even a few years sometimes to get to the step where it's, published. So it is kind of an intensive process, whereas if we go to a regular newspaper article, like a Times article, that's something that a journalist can write very quickly. They have a tight timeline, and it doesn't require as much vetting of that information, right? With the journal articles, there's a lot of research involved, and the authors look at other people who are in conversation with that research. So they expound on a given topic, they talk about it with their peers, they raise questions and all that. So it's really very involved, as you note. And let me turn back and show you a few more options here on OneSearch. So here I want to focus next on this drop-down menu on the right-hand side near the dashboard. And there is an arrow pointing down that says everything. So right now, the platform is searching for everything related to this term octopus. But if I click on the drop-down menu, I can go to options that are only available online. Let's say that you are working remotely and you may not be able to come on campus as much, or maybe you are an international student studying abroad and you want to only look at the available online options, you can click on that. If you're more of a hands-on person who wants to come into the library, read a print book, then there's the library shelves option. And then there are also the articles and textbook options. And the other thing too is the advanced search option here on the right. So if you click on the advanced option, what this does is it creates more windows to search additional search terms. So maybe I'm interested in searching the term octopus as related to aquariums. Maybe I'm helping a friend research the topic of how to work with octopus in an aquarium or something like that. So I type in these two search terms now, and I can even add additional lines to write additional terms that will refine my search further. Then I am satisfied with that, and I can click on search. And then I can scroll down and see what comes up. So you may note that really narrowed my results down to close to 2,000 results there. And then I can go back to the refined features and think about my publication date, resource type, and all that. And then another thing that I would like to point out is your ability to pin some of these items. So let's say that I am enamored with this book on octopus. I click on it, I check it out. This one is in one of my favorite databases. It's called Ebook Central. It's like a really clean and easy to use platform. Sometimes if you're signed in already, you just have to refresh it. If you haven't signed in, it'll ask you to authenticate with your username and password. So after you authenticate, it'll take you to the platform, which looks like this. And you can read the book online, you can download it, you can cite the book. And I always guide students to really pay attention to the table of contents when they're exploring an ebook. You sometimes think, I don't have time to read a whole book for a research paper, right? Well, it doesn't have to be, a reading of an entire book. You can just read a chapter, which works the same way as kind of like reading an article, right? So maybe there's a chapter that is really in par with your research topic, and reading content from ebooks is great because there's so much work and so much sometimes love that goes into writing a book and researching a book, and experts in the field write that content. So I encourage you to not discard the ebook option and think about it in bits rather than the whole. So let's say I'm really interested in this book, and I start checking it out online on the reader. Now I'm going to come back to it later because I have to go to work and eat lunch or whatever. So I'm going to maybe pin this book with this icon here. And in order to come back and find the same book, I'm going to have to sign in on the upper right hand here so that it saves it for me in one place. And then you log in with faculty, staff, and students log in. And you will authenticate as well there with your username and password. And now you can see that my name appears there on the upper right-hand side. So after I pin that item, now if I sign out and I come back later after work or after lunch, the book is going to be there in my listing. So let me go to my favorites on the upper right-hand side here, and there is the book that I saved. Okay, and then the last item that I want to cover is just related to some of the other icons here next to the pin button. One of them is the email option. So you can email this source to yourself. It can be your personal email or your school email, and then send it. You can also use a citation tool from here or print it. One word of warning that I have on using the citation tool with OneSearch, that's, I think, one of the few downsides of OneSearch, is that sometimes the citations here are not as accurate. So I highly recommend that you do two things. One, I think the citations within the database are a little bit more accurate than the ones on OneSearch. So once you have signed in to look at the article or the book that you're reading, you can go to the citation tool option here, click Get Citation, and these are usually more accurate. And then the second thing I would like you to do is to compare the citation to another citation manual like OWL Purdue, which is a free resource, free citation guide, and just compare the two to make sure that they match, because OWL Purdue is always updated with the latest MLA version. So I can type in, citing MLA articles, OWL Purdue. And then that will take me to the Purdue Online Writing Lab website. And it gives me a step-by-step breakdown on how to cite things like an entire website or an article. I like to use the Command F option to make a window pop up there. And then I type in a keyword and see how it highlights it on the web page. So I can keep pressing enter or return to see where all the journal keywords appear. And that saves me a lot of time than scrolling through the whole page, especially if it's a long one, right? So yeah, that's a way to kind of double check between those two. And I think that gives you like a pretty wide overview of what you can do with OneSearch, how you can use it in class for research, and how to go about citing your sources. So I'm going to stop the share now and just get back to you to check in, see if we have any chat questions. Okay, so Austria, did you have a question? Okay, so it looks like someone dropped a, okay, cool. Someone dropped like a LibGuide website there. So does anyone have any questions or comments on the last items that I covered there? Are you feeling information overload right now? Is your head exploding? You're like, no. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear.
I feel like it's pretty like straightforward. Like the way you explain, everything's clear. So it's good. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I'm very glad to hear. Yeah, sometimes if students are very new to research, and I know that when I was just starting out, sometimes a platform like OneSearch can be a little bit more advanced because it has so many options and so many buttons everywhere. But I think that, students are very familiar with so many platforms. So it just takes a matter of practice for you to kind of figure out where things are and pick up things very quickly by doing a hands-on exercise. So if anyone does not have any more, does anyone have any other questions or comments? Okay, if you do, feel free to drop it in the chat and I will read it and get to it. The next thing I want you to do now is to give this a hands-on try. Sometimes when we lecture on a given topic, especially with database demos, students may have an easier time putting that information into practice to get a feel for how it really works. So I want you to go to the library page now, and I want you to enter a search term on the OneSearch window and try at least one of the refining options that I talked about, either refining it by publication date or the resource type or the availability, and just kind of explore some of that research. And if you don't know what kind of keyword or topic to enter, you can start very widely by thinking of a topic that you've discussed in class. And if you just want to use my search term, feel free to use mine just to kind of give it a try. Okay, so can you show me how to look up something in the nervous system in the human body? Okay, so let me share my screen again. So I can say nervous system. And here's another tip. You can also use the plus sign to search for 2 key terms. So if the plus sign kind of functions as an and, so it'll search for this term and this term. And that is also useful for Google searches and for many databases. So let me go to search. Okay, so then here we have 274,000 results. There's Atlas of the Human Body, Central Nervous System, and Vascularization. And we see that this is a book. It's an ebook, as it's available online. So that has a publication date of 2017. So then the next question is 2017 recent enough for you, or is it too old of an entry? If it is, if you want something more contemporary, then we can go to publication date and click, like do 2019 to 2022, click refine, and then see what comes up there. My recommendation is that you try out both options. Like try something more contemporary to see what's the newest research on a topic, and then also try a wider search for a more wider lens on your topic. Okay, so if you want to narrow it by resource type, you can focus on articles or go to show more and then go to books. There's 6 books, and also an important item is the reference entries. So reference entries can give you access to encyclopedias, dictionaries, and things like that give you like a quicker definition on your topic, if you want to start there. And sometimes there's relevant results, sometimes there aren't. So it's just a matter of trying it out and exploring. Okay. You're very welcome. So I'll give you the rest of the time to just kind of work on your own. And I'm going to be here and see if you have any questions that come up. Unmute yourself and ask, or write it in the chat. And Syra, what is our time frame?
Yes, so we're here until 4.
Okay, cool. So we'll have 20 minutes to kind of do the hands-on exercise, and you can tell me what your experience was like, and I'll play some meditation music so that you can just chill out and work, okay? Okay, so I'm just gonna stop the meditation music for a little bit and just kind of check in to see how you're doing and to see how you're finding the process, the hands-on exercise. Are you finding some helpful resources? Are you finding something that you like or don't like about it?
Yeah, so I did like a little a search for a book, or I came across a book because I was searching up like my topic was like the effects of social media.
Oh,
And I came across a book called Social Media and Your Brain, Web-Based Communication, and how changing we think about and expressing ourselves. And so I'm just like kind of a general question. So this is a book, right? But like it doesn't pop up like the book. All that it pops up is just like oh like request it or request from other colleges and CCD. So I just want to kind of know, like, how can I see like a digital version if there's any of this book?
okay. So let me give you access to share your screen. So on the bottom right-hand corner, on the bottom dashboard where you see the share screen, go ahead and show me what it looks like from your end if you can, so I can have a visual of that.
Okay, so I'm actually on my mobile Zoom and I'm searching this through my desktop. So
Oh,
do you
no
want
worries.
me, like,
No,
I could turn on my camera from my phone and then like kind of show you? Is that okay?
yeah, no worries at all. Whatever
Mm.
works best. And I can
Okay.
also, you can also tell me what the title of the book is and I can look it up. Whatever works best.
All right. Hopefully you're seeing now. So I came across like,
Uh-huh.
you see this, and
Yeah.
it's like, sorry if it's kind of like off, but this is like the book, right?
Oh, okay. Social media
Okay,
and your
that's the
brain.
title.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's
And then
maybe stacks. Okay, so let me go to the screen. Okay, so let's go to social media and your brain. So yeah, you can also search items by title and by author here. So that's another cool option on OneSearch.
Linda, for some reason, sorry to cut you off, but for some reason, it's only sharing a portion of your screen.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me see. So go ahead and stop your share. Let me see. Was that Jorge?
yeah, it might have been because my video was on, so sorry, I turned it off.
Oh, no worries at all. I forgot on the multiple sharing thing. Okay, cool. So can everyone see it now, my screen?
Yep, it looks good now.
Okay, so I typed in the title, Social Media in Your Brain, and it's this first one that came up, right? Web-based communication is changing how we think.
Yeah, it's that one.
Okay, so this one here says available at DVC Stacks. So this stacks is just like another word for the shelves. So this means that it's a print copy. If you want access to this, you would have to come into the library. And these numbers and letters is just the the system that we use to locate the book on the shelves. So you can, are you able to come into campus, or is that not an option?
No, yeah, I actually go to campus. I just came from campus, but I go every Mondays and Tuesdays. So I'll probably pick it up now that you mention it. That it's like corresponding to the number. I just kind of want to know if there was like a digital copy, like an ebook available of this book. But if there's not, that's totally fine.
Right. Yeah. So typically, if there is a digital option, there might be another entry that will say, available online. So this one, it doesn't say available online. And one thing that you can do, if there's a book that you want to request online, you can go to our library page, and where it says services for students. Well, you can do two things. You can request, so let's go to services for students, and then you can click on the tab suggest textbook. And then you can fill out the short form with the information, and maybe on the additional comments say, I'm interested in an ebook copy. There is only a print copy option, type of thing. So sometimes we honor these requests depending on, the kind of budget that we have. But that's one easy way to request a given book or textbook that you want us to purchase. So if you want it now, if you want it more expedited for your essay deadline, because sometimes suggesting a textbook, it can take a while to figure out if we're going to purchase a book or not. So my recommendation right now is maybe either go for the print copy, or you can also request one chapter or two chapters of a given book and have us send it via email. Like, we will scan it and send it via email. So for that, let me go to our library page. And we can go to the Ask a Librarian options. And there's like FAQs here. So how can I use textbooks on reserve is a question. And then there's a form here that says request for textbook scanning via email. If you're not available to come into a library, you can submit a request for textbook scanning via email. We will scan articles or chapters from physical items. And because of copyright law, it's usually just one or two chapters of a book. So I'm going to drop the link to this form, and you can make that request through that way if you're not able to come into campus, or you just prefer that option. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to hand this over to Syra now, who's going to guide you to a form before we head out, so that you can give us some feedback on the workshop.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Linda, for this wonderful presentation. So informative. I know that I'm definitely going to be using it for myself, and also for my students that that need help with looking for all of these different articles and whatnot for classes. But like Linda said, yes, I am going to drop a WUFU link as well. If y'all can please complete this survey. It is a feedback survey, and it is a survey that it will ask you if you are attending this for extra credit. Like I said at the beginning of this session, is that there are some professors who give you extra credit for attending these. And we do need you to complete the survey in order for us to be able to communicate that you attended this session. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you,
You're very
Zara.
welcome.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
You guys
Really
too.
nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.